I want to talk about Hoyoverse. Like, the entirety of Hoyoverse. Um, and yeah, I'll be playing Withering Waves in the background. Specifically because of what I'm talking about. Um, I think a lot more recently now, I've lost all hope for Hoyoverse games. In general. Like,
I sense your weakness.
back when I started playing Genshin, I had a lot of hope for...
Every flavored Belless crab.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize that quest was going to be voiced. But that's another thing about Hoyoverse games that I'm sick of. All these quests are unvoiced and all these NPCs are usually doing the same thing. The worlds usually don't feel that alive. I mean, ZZZ has done pretty good, but because of my experiences with all the other games, like Genshin Impact and now Honkai Starail and even Honkai Impact 3rd, I'm just waiting for that game to just become a money grab. And it's sad because I really enjoyed Genshin Impact. I mean, yes, I hoped that things would change and that they would fix the game and make it better and make it so then you don't have to wait for a certain day of the week to farm materials. But now seeing the state that Honkai Star Rail is in and where it's heading, because I'll be honest, when they talk about, you know, the new coming updates where they're gonna upgrade the old characters and make them usable and they're gonna fix the problems with the game, I have very little hope when they talk about that because of my experience with all the other games.
Cherish every gain.
So, rather than being excited about it, I mean, I was excited at first, but then I realized, oh wait, this is Hoyoverse. Hoyoverse doesn't just fix their game. It takes a lot for them to fix their game. And even with ZZZ, it took a bunch of people basically quitting the game and not touching it or not spending in it for them to get rid of all the TVs. I mean, yes, that was like the one thing that people were always hating in it, but the fact it took everyone dropping their game for them to change it is what worries me about that game. Which is why, in general, I don't think I'll be looking forward to many Hoyoverse games in the future. Will I play them? Probably, sure. I'll give it a try, but I'll be honest, Hoyoverse has let me down one too many times. And it's because of that fact that, honestly, I could care less about, you know, an upcoming game being a Hoyoverse game. Yes, they have like a special polish to them, but you have games out here like Kuro Games or Infinity Nikki where they also have that type of nice look to it. And it's a different look, but it's still like a nice look. And I just wished that instead of Hoyoverse being the scummy company that it is, to where it refuses to make changes unless a bunch of people basically boycott the game or stop spending in it, they won't do anything. I just don't like that. And I wish that, you know, we didn't have to
every gain.
go through that, where we have to boycott their games for them to fix it. Like, I get, oh, it's a company, it's, you know, that's how they make money and whatever, but as we've seen from Kuro Games, you're able to listen to your players and still make money. You're still able to have a weapon banner that guarantees you the weapon for you to still make money. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the honkai starail thing where it's like, oh, you need to have the character in their weapon, you need to have the character in their S1. And like I said, I know that they're trying to fix it, but I have very little hope for their fix. Like, as much as I want them to like change how the characters work or tone it down on making every character so overpowered for no reason, I know they're not going to. I know that Hoyoverse doesn't just do that. Like, especially when you look at the model of Honkai Star Rail, like, as much as I wish it was back like day one where, you know, you just throw things together and do damage, where it's like, oh, I have a, what's her name? I don't know, you have like a Fu Shuan and you have a Ting Yun, and then you like throw, I don't know, Yang Qing and Kafka in there, and you're able to like do something. Is it the best team? No. It's probably like not the greatest, but you were still able to like clear things. And then if you like actually, you know, took care of your Kafka and you like built a Sampo or you got yourself a Gwenephen, then you were all good. And I do think Silver Wolf would have been okay because she was still balanced in a lot of ways. Because of the fact that she had that RNG to it. And the only way you could like get around the RNG was building a full quantum team. Like, I think that was okay. But because they just, instead of making it like a special gimmick for like only Silver Wolf because, oh, you know, she's part of the Stellaron Hunters, so of course she's like special like that, they just kind of continue adding that to other characters like Boot Hill and Firefly. And I mean, I think it was the start of the end, but I feel like it would have been okay if they just stopped at Silver Wolf. Because if they stopped at Silver Wolf and let's say, you know, everything was leveled out and whatever, people would have been able to just build around weaknesses rather than having to pretty much build around Team Cops. It just felt like back at the beginning of the game, there was so many possibilities, and it was like, ooh, I can't wait to see what cool team comps I can make if I throw this character and this character together. And it's sad. I wish it wasn't like this. I mean, once again, I know that they're trying to fix it and that they're like working on it, but knowing Hoyoverse, I just have so little hope that they'll actually fix it. And it not just be like a quick little fix. Like, I'm trying to look at it positively and be like, oh, you know, it's Honkai Star Rail. It's not Genshin Impact, surely. But it feels like this game has gone in a bad direction, and no one stopped it from going in that bad direction. Instead, they just kind of went straight into it. And I think Acheron is what really made everyone aware that this was the beginning of the end. Because as great as Acheron is for, like, making the grind easier for you to just, you know, ultimately just kill enemies, no problem. And it's just like the weaker enemies. It was still a big power creep to where it's like, oh, either you get Acheron or you have to go around and kill the small enemies that are weak. And honestly, that's the only reason why I personally pulled for Acheron, was because of the fact that, oh, she can just one hit kill enemies, and it's like the small enemies that usually don't take up much, like, it don't take much to kill them, so I'll just grab her and then just use her as like a bot to do that. I know this is probably like a really long ramble. I don't know how much I'm cutting out or what I'm editing. Overall, basically, I have little hope for any Hoyoverse game right now and in the future. And that goes for Zenless Zone Zero as well, because of the fact that it's linked to hoyoverse. At this point, it's basically, what's the saying? Waiting for like the second shoe to drop? I think that's the saying. It's something like that, where you're basically just waiting for the catch. Where it's like, oh, cool, here's this hoyoverse game that actually seems to care about what their players are saying, and I'm just waiting for it to hit me where it's like, oh, haha, psych, we got ya. You thought this one was different than the other hoyoverse games? You were wrong. And I don't know how many other people are feeling the same way.
Wind, guide me.
I know Tectone's probably talked about it a little bit, but other than that, I don't think I've seen anyone else talk about hoyoverse in general and how they just continue to basically disappoint players and just use them for money. Like, once again, I get it's, you know, a gacha game. Like, the whole point of a gacha game is to make easy money off of people. But you have games like, you know, Wuthering Waves, and I'm guessing also they're Punishing a Raven as well, which aren't such money grabs. I know Infinity Nikki is kind of a money grab, but it's not really. Because of the fact that it's just outfits. It's just pretty outfits. Like, it's not... You're not getting anything overpowered. All the abilities in the game you can get for free. Like, all the outfits are there for is just for you to collect. Which is why I like the other Infinity Nikki games as well. Now, is it a big problem if you're, like, really into FOMO? Yes, it's a big problem if you get caught into FOMO. But overall, it's not like Honkai Starail, where it's like, oh, you gotta get this overpowered unit, otherwise you're not gonna be able to clear any endgame. Or, oh, you better get this character because, you know, enemies are gonna feel terrible to fight because you don't have this powerful character.
The end has come.
And I just wish
Hopefully this helps.
that someone would come along and just dethrone hoyoverse, honestly. I think hoyoverse itself needs to be put in its place. Like, people talk about Kuro games putting Genshin in its place, but we need something to put, like, every one of their games in their place. That way, maybe they'll change as a company. That's probably just hopeful wishing, but it legit feels like we need the whole company itself to be more humble. I think that's how you'd put it. Because currently it feels like they think they're on top of the world and that anyone would play their game all because it's hoyoverse. Which, yeah, I won't lie. If it's a hoyoverse game, I will give it a try. Like, I've even tried Tears of Themis. All because of it being a hoyoverse game. Did I really enjoy it? Honestly, no. I mean, it was fine, but it was like, eh. It's nothing that grand or fascinating.
At your disposal.
Like, honestly, Love in Deep Space was a lot better. Which is why, you know, Love in Deep Space is popular and Tears of Themis is not. I'm going to hold on hope for now that Honkai Star Rail is going to go in a better direction. I mean, I'm going to try to. The recent, what is it, Forgotten Hall reset, I tried playing that. Ironically, it was before Tectone released his video about his try on that, and I deleted all the footage because I was like, I can't even complete it. What's the point of me uploading this? But now I realized that was the point of uploading it. The fact that someone like me who, at most, I spent on one of them, like, weekly thing, I don't know, the daily, like, login I spent on the daily login thing, and then I also spent on like the monthly reset things, where you get like a free weapon and stuff. And I only spent on that because of, well, my favorite character was Aventurine, and there was like a special little Aventurine logo, so I bought it just for that. But other than that, I haven't really spent in it. Like, I'm a very light spender. And even as like a light spender, I am struggling. Like, I'm tried to do the endgame mode, absolutely failed, got demolished. Sure, it might be because I like to pull male characters over female ones, but I think it's unfair that if you're someone like me who prefers to play male characters and prefers to pull male characters, that you have to suffer all because you don't have the most powerful units.
I sense your weakness.
Like, in Withering Waves, you're able to go around and use only male characters, and play with only male characters if you wanted. Unless you're going into like endgame mode, because I don't think we have enough male characters to complete an endgame mode. At least not optimally. Where is it? I hear it. But the fact that you can just like run around the world and use like male characters and be fine is great. But because Honkai Starail isn't the type of game you're able to like run around the world in, like, yeah, you can a little bit, but it's not like Genshin or Wuwa or any of them open world games where you're actually running around with your character. So, you know, being able to use male characters in combat, which is where you're mostly gonna be, means a lot. And when you can't do that because your male characters aren't strong enough, or, you know, the older characters that you pulled like a year ago aren't strong enough to defeat the combat, that's a problem. Like, it shouldn't be such a struggle. Like, if you watch Tectone's video about his recent play in the Abyss, I'll probably throw his link somewhere down below if you haven't seen it somehow. But if you watch his play of it, you can see the difference between his built-up characters, where it's like, what is it? His E2 Rappa and Lingsha and, you know, his break team that was like overpowered full and still is overpowered. And then you compare it to the Dot team, where I'm pretty sure he has at least Acheron's light cone. I don't know if he got constellations or not, but, you know, a built Acheron, and it can't do, it can't even clear it with enough time. Even Mr. Pokey struggled clearing. That's how you know it's a problem, because if you have these big creators who are able to spend on this game and able to, you know, get the E1 and the E2 and get the light cone, and they can't even clear the combat, how on earth is an everyday player, casual, who don't really spend or spends like maybe on the daily pass, supposed to clear this content? And that's just one of the many reasons why I've just given up. I have no hope for Hoyoverse in general. And because of Honkai Star Rail, I have no hope for pretty much any other games. Because every single time they come out with a new game, it feels like they take the things that you wanted in this other game and put it in this new one. And it's really saddening. I just don't think I'll be able to play Hoyoverse games in the future.
Wind, guide me.
Which, thankfully, we have a bunch of non-Hoyoverse games coming out. Like, we have Azure Permelia to look forward to. We have, what is it, Neverness to Everness to look forward to. We have Arknight's Enfield, which, after seeing people play the beta test, which I did not get into, I'm looking very hopeful to that one. Because despite there not being, you know, a jump button, I like the fact that it's more like you have to look around at your surroundings and use your surroundings more to get around. Or, is it jump button? I think it's not jump button, but being able to climb. either way, it reminds me of like Infinity Nikki. Infinity Nikki, you can't climb on any of the rocks or anything. So when it comes to like, let's say trying to get one of like the collectibles that are like up in the air or something like that, you have to kind of use your surroundings and figuring out how to do that. And they give you the materials to do that, so it's just figuring out the solution. And I really don't mind that type of exploration. Not only that, but Arknight's Endfield, it looks more, I want to say strategy? I don't know if strategy is the right word, or more, like you have to actually think about it. Based on like the little base that you have to build up. Like, that looks like a lot of fun for me. Like, I'm actually gonna have to, you know, use my brain and think about how to put things together to get it to work. And I really like that type of thing. Like, not a lot of gacha games or something like that. Like, a lot of them have it very easy, very casual, where, you know, oh, you see flash, you hit dodge. And that's another thing. I'm excited for, like, to test out the dodge for that game. I remember a lot of people talking about how the dodge is like different than games like Wuthering Waves, and I'm excited. But because, you know, other games are coming in the future, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal for me to just stop playing Wuthering, or stop playing any of Hoyoverse game. Like, as much fun as I've had in Hoyoverse games, I could easily just drop them and not really be that sad. Like, pretty much, Honkai Starail is on its last leg for me. Like, if their improvements to the game that they're talking about don't meet my expectations, I'm leaving. And I'm never coming back. Even if they do fix their game, I'm just not. It's not worth me coming back when I could just play a different game. Hoyoverse games are all cash grabs. Can't change my mind about that. And I'm just waiting for Zenless Zone Zero to reveal its true identity and reveal that it's just a cash grab like the rest of them, for me to basically quit it. Because I remember how happy all of us were when Honkai Star Rail finally came out, and we were like, yes, finally, a Hoyoverse game that isn't Genshin Impact and might actually listen to its players, and look at all the things that they added that Genshin doesn't have, and
Echoes of the past.
you know, on and on. And realizing that it was just a ploy to pretty much get us into the door. At least that's what it looks like now. In the future, it looks like it was all just a ploy to get everyone to hop on in and join the game, because, oh, look at that, we're not like Genshin, we actually let you farm your materials whenever you want, and we're so generous, we give you 10 pulls each patch, and we're so awesome, we gave you guys a free 5-star, and he's an actual useful 5-star that you can have fun with. But now, looking at the game now, it's just like, wow, they were just using it to keep us playing. They were just using the free 5-star to, you know, get people to come back to the game, or using the free 5-star because now look at him. He's basically useless now because he got power crept. What was it, 3 patches later? If that? If after this, like, quote-unquote fix that they're doing to the game, and it doesn't, like, actually fix the game, or things still feel broken and unplayable, I think all of us should just leave. I mean, maybe if you still enjoy it, go ahead, have fun, but I'm not someone who can just continue to play a game I don't like. But
Discovery.
yeah. Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about, is just I'm planning on
Cherish every gain.
basically dropping hoyoverse games. I mean, not quite yet, but it's getting to the point where I'd rather just not get attached to them before they become bad. If that makes sense. It's like being in like an abusive relationship where it's like, oh, I know it'll get better. I'm sure they'll get better. I'm sure that I can change them, but there's only so much you can do, and only so much you can change, especially when they're just like that. And I think I'm at that point where I realized hoyoverse games are just not the games for me. And that's okay, because there's plenty of other games to play. In fact, there's a new one that just came out last night, this morning, something like that, called like Tribe 9, and I'm gonna be playing that one soon. But yeah, anyway, that's all for me. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to add to what you think in the comments, please do so. I'll be reading, because I'm curious to hear how many other people are hopeless, losing hope for hoyoverse.
And it's very much my companion now.
But yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.